Okay, guys, I'm gonna be real with you here. That I've done this recording at least twice. I've had camera issues, but other than that, I'm gonna be real with you. I was actually doing this recording during the last stint of Raw, especially during the main event, and I honestly don't really care about the outcome because let's be real, Raw has not been doing a good job in promoting their pay per views, especially the big four. Seeing how Survivor Series is going to be on November 30th, and now that they're going to have the cruiserweights moved, well, some of them, according to Michael Cole, they're still going to have cruiserweights on Raw, but most of them is going to be on 205 Live, which is going to be on the network on the 29th of November, well, of this month. So if you're going to have the cruiserweights, most of them move to 205 Live, then why in the world are you going to still have them on Raw? And not to mention, why are you starting to care now about Survivor Series? The biggest thing about Survivor Series is definitely setting up amazing matches. Survivor Series has not been the same. I'm sorry, it hasn't. It's been very, very piss poor. Excuse my language, but it's been terrible. When it comes to the brand split, the one thing that Vince McMahon kept talking about multiple times is competition. There is some serious competition going on between SmackDown Live and Raw. You got to get your act together. Now, when it comes to Raw, don't get it twisted. They have a huge card, a stacked card, most of them primetime players. And they have an amazing technology when it comes to photography. When it comes to I think they have like the 360 cam. They have pretty much all kinds of technology to make their shows amazing and epic. But good grief, they just don't know how to get stuff together. Everybody gets left in the shuffle. The women's division is poor because they don't have a lot of women there. It's so many things wrong, and it makes you still want to root for them in a way for those who really are like huge Raw fans. But after tonight in Glasgow, oh my gosh, really? Now, before I actually get into the show itself, I'm just going to say this straight out. When it comes to the UK fans, we all know, for those that have actually been to WrestleMania 32, or for those that have been to any kind of Big Four pay per view event that has people from other countries there, especially from the UK, we know that the UK have very passionate fans. And their chants are totally different from ours. We have the three-syllable chant, something that's quick, easy, disposable, done. They literally have songs, and the purpose of their songs is to get you off their game. They do it during football events, and they're gonna do it during wrestling events. It threw everybody off their game, especially the women. The women's segment is probably one of the poorest segments ever because it threw all of the women off, including Bayley, and the song itself was about Bayley, and it threw Bayley off. Then it threw Charlotte off, and Charlotte's had more chants thrown at her than anything else, but it's the US chants are different. Even threw Lana off that night because she actually said, America, put your hands on your heart. And I'm like, no, honey, you're in Glasgow. You are in Scotland. Good grief. It threw all those women off of their game. It really messed up Dana Brooke because Dana Brooke nearly broke the face of Bayley by hitting her face on the turnbuckle. And it shocked everybody. It even shocked Alicia. Alicia couldn't even throw her out properly because Alicia was shocked. Nia Jax didn't know what to do. She wasn't expecting that hit to happen. Everybody was in a state of shock after that huge botch by Dana Brooke. And honestly, at least Bayley got the pin. That's all I have to say about that. Any type of confidence that Dana Brooke had is dead now. I'm sorry, it's dead. It's completely gone. It's not there anymore. She's probably a huddled mass of mess behind the scenes because she messed up royally in a UK crowd. The thing of it is that she was an amazing heel when she was on NXT. I loved her when she was on NXT. She was an amazing heel. She was great with Emma. She had a huge amount of confidence. She wasn't so bad in the ring. She was getting better as time went on, but she had confidence. They moved her up to Raw far too quickly, and they put her at the number one heel spot far too early. They didn't give her a chance to be seasoned. Didn't give her a chance to find her confidence. And that's the biggest problem that they have. They move people up too early, hence Eva Marie. I'm not getting so much into her because I know that a lot of you guys don't like her. But other than that, she's pretty much the victim of the same exact thing. She went up way too early before she actually became a little bit more seasoned, but she was able to work with what she had a lot easier and a lot more confident with it than Dana Brooke. But other than that, I digress. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Dana Brooke's confidence is gone. You can tell every time she's in the ring, she's scared. And that's sad. And I'm kind of happy that they did choose Sasha Banks over Dana Brooke, because if they chose Dana Brooke over Sasha Banks, people are going to start to riot, including myself, even though I don't know what I can riot, but I would not be the happiest of campers. It's bad enough that the whole Emelina thing is happening, because the whole purpose of the women's division was to make the women being taken seriously instead of being the divas and the models that they were during the whole diva search and crap like that. That was supposed to literally be erased and gone after WrestleMania 32. But for some strange reason, someone, and we all know who, is trying to bring that back. And it's a shame it had to be Emma, because Emma is amazing. And I'm trying not to go off on a tangent here, but I'm just going to go ahead and get this out, because there's really nothing much to talk about for this Raw tonight. When it comes to Emma, I have seen Emma's feud with Paige during the whole NXT FCW days, and it was phenomenal. One of the best feuds I have ever witnessed. Those two girls could go. Emma is an amazing performer. Not only that, she's an amazing heel. After she stopped with that whole thing with Santino Marella and became more serious being a heel, that chick could go places without any kind of stupid shtick. She can go places on her own because she has talent. They have literally took 1,000 steps back with her by doing this whole Emelina thing, this whole model Emelina thing, which is the polar opposite of what she's supposed to be. All she needed to do was to heal her back and stay a heel. That's all they had to do. But they're going to do this whole Emelina thing and set her back 1,000 steps, which is very sad. And it's going to set back the women's division. But we all know who's responsible for that now, do we? Now let's move on from there to the most stupidest moment of the entire night. And don't get me wrong, it was actually fun to watch before the New Day showed up. Now the Golden Truth was sitting there on the side keeping their mouth shut like they're supposed to, because they really didn't have nothing to say. But when it came to the banter between Cesaro and Sheamus, as well as the back and forth between, which is the same thing I guess, I don't know, between Enzo and Cass, I loved it. They literally can have so much chemistry when it goes to the whole back and forth banter. I love that. I love those moments of heeldom with Sheamus and Cesaro, and all, well, pretty much more with Sheamus, and then going to Enzo and Cass. I love the back and forth. The club are just running jokes. I'm sorry, they are. There's no way that they can be hardcore mean after losing to the New Day multiple times, and even with those ridiculous wins that they have over Enzo and Cass occasionally, they need to build their reputation back up, and they don't really have one, so they shouldn't even been in the ring or even spoke. But other than that, the segment was far more fun without the New Day. And I know I've already said before that yes, the New Day did grow on me, but warts grow on you, and occasionally warts have to get removed if they get too big. And I've already removed that wart. I'm kind of done with the New Day. I'm tired of them. I'm ready for them to go. I'm tired of their shtick. I'm tired of them dressing up like clowns every night. And I am tired of them being jokes. Those belts don't need to be on them. They need to lose those belts quickly. And I'm hoping it's to Cesaro and Sheamus. But other than that, it really shows that all those people in the ring, it shows by far that SmackDown has a far superior tag team division than they do. And they got a stacked card, and that's pretty jacked up. As well as the women's division. They have a lot more women, but even those women are second string, and they got the primetime players. The second string players are outperforming the primetime. Just saying. That's my opinion. But I'm just going to move on from there to the cruiserweights. Now, when it comes to the cruiserweights, they got the 205 Live that's coming on WWE Network, which makes no sense for them to still be on Raw. But let's be honest, Brian Kendrick should not be champion. I don't care what anybody says. I love Brian Kendrick. I'm a fan of his, but good gravy. His little moment in the ring, I can't even call that a promo. That moment was ridiculous. And not only that, it was stupid for Noam Dar to literally make his debut in his home country to lose to Brian Kendrick. And Brian Kendrick giving the most ridiculous promo ever, and it looked completely awkward in the ring because I know how well Noam Dar can perform as well. And I'm going to be honest, Brian Kendrick is crafty. He is great with submission holds. He is crafty. He knows how to outrun you. But when it comes to looking flawless, no. He is extraordinarily clumsy at times. But other than that, when it comes to Noam Dar, he's in his hometown. Make the hometown hero look good. That's all we ask. Make him look good. He came all the way back there to Scotland, where he is from. Well, he's actually from Israel. He was born in Israel, but he was raised in Scotland. But other than that, he's a Scot. Can you, for crying out loud, let him have a victory in his home country over Brian Kendrick, please? And even if that means in the title picture, who cares? You already knocked off TJP, so just let him have his win. And other than that, it just looked clumsy. It looked awkward. I don't know what Brian Kendrick was doing. He had to repeat himself several times. I don't know what was going on in his head, but it was the worst moment ever. Seriously, it was not that good. It didn't promote the cruiserweights that well at all. And what was all this whole 10 on 10, fatal 5 ways? I'm like, look, what is this? Seriously. I know Survivor Series is coming up, but the biggest thing that they had to do was set up their teams. And sure, you have a few filler matches here and there, but there were far too many. Not to mention a match that we as fans are I'm going to be real, I'm not looking forward to this at all. I'm actually downright nervous about the Goldberg versus Brock. And they showed it like, what, 3 times all night? Good gravy. You're in Scotland. You're trying to promote Survivor Series. Dude, we know that Goldberg is there. And the fact that you actually show footage of that gaudy monstrosity of a match was shocking. And you know they had to edit a lot of crap out for that match. That match was terrible. By far the worst match in history. And even Brock was like, I didn't really care about that match. I had stuff to do. I had athletic obligations to deal with. He really didn't care. And he owned up to it. I kind of wish Goldberg did. But other than that, that was a horrible match to even go back to and talk about. But other than that, we know that they're going to be in Buffalo. We get it. It would have made sense to actually show it one time, not multiple. But let's just move on from there. And there was just so much freaking randomness, especially with Sami Zayn. I feel bad for Sami because they don't know what to do with him. They really don't. This man was a phenomenal player. And not to mention that him and Kevin Owens had one of the best feuds I have ever seen on Raw. But the sad part is, after Battleground, when it was supposed to be over, they still had Sami Zayn on Raw when he should have been drafted SmackDown and develop a career of his own. Here's the one thing I'm going to say about that. If he actually does win, I am hoping that he actually takes that belt and keeps it on SmackDown. I am hoping that he asks to leave. Because they're not doing anything for him on Raw. He is getting lost in the shuffle. They don't know what to do with him. And they're putting him in random matches. And it makes no sense. Seriously. I am really hoping that he actually does keep the belt on SmackDown by going to SmackDown and staying there. Just saying. But other than that, guys, the main event itself, I could care less about that Fatal 5-Way. The banter in the middle of the ring was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely love Seth Rollins on the mic. I love Kevin Owens on the mic. Chris Jericho still annoys me. That doesn't change anything. And honestly, you have whoever else was in the ring too. Because right now, I really don't care. But they are setting up the fact that Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho are going to break up soon. And it's a given that Chris Jericho is going to overuse his welcome. I can't think of the term at this point. But other than that, you know that Chris Jericho is going to be done. Or I don't know, like they're going to actually start fighting and probably fight for the U.S. title for Chris Jericho's last hurrah. I am hoping that Chris Jericho actually retires this year. I'm hoping. Because with all this stuff, it's all this backstage drama that's going on between Jericho and at least 2 people. Before it was Brock Lesnar, now it's Sin Cara. He needs to go. Seriously, by far, needs to dip out. He needs to get a championship, have a few months of fun, and then leave. But as for the main event itself, I did not care at all. This build was bad. Every single match that they had for Raw to build for Survivor Series has been piss poor. Excuse my language, but it's just been bad. Flat out bad. They should know better. This is the top brand. This is a Big 4 pay-per-view. They have worked hard to make the women look good. And now they're setting it back a million times. And yes, the crowd kind of messed things up. I'm not going to lie. Kind of threw them for a loop. But when it comes to the Emelina thing, they should know better. When it comes to the Survivor Series matches, they should know better. When it comes to the tag team matches, they should know better. There were parts of this Raw that was entertaining, but building up to Survivor Series was just bad. They are making SmackDown look golden right now because SmackDown is actually having decent builds when it comes to their matches, but SmackDown has less to work with. So it's easier on them. Kinda. But when it comes to Raw, they got everything at their disposal, and if you can't do crap with it, then what good are you? That's just what I'm saying about that. It's a horrible build. Horrible build to Survivor Series. They probably have, less than, 2-3 weeks to go? They need to make this better. They really do. They can't put everything into Brock and Goldberg. We have seen this before, y'all. It's on the network of how bad it is. Not even Stone Cold could save that match. We cannot depend on that match to be the main event of the night. We can't. We can't. They should not. They know their record. It was bad. And if they're dependent on that, they're going to fail. And in my opinion, I really do believe that this whole brand split was to benefit SmackDown. And I'm happy. I root for the underdog. But other than that, guys, this Raw was terrible. When it comes to the build of Survivor Series, it was bad. There was a lot of entertaining points, but it was far too much filler. And some of the match actually did last a bit too long. But despite all that, the overall purpose of this Raw was to build up for Survivor Series and to get you pumped to buy the network to watch it. They did not do that at all. And I still think that Stephanie's pregnant. I don't give a crap what anybody says. She's been wearing these moo-moo dresses for the past few weeks. I still think she's trying to push for that boy. And I do believe that they might have one. Finally, after 3 girls. If she's pregnant at all. But she looks like she is packing on some pounds. I really do think that she's pregnant. But that's just me. Other than that, guys, my overall thoughts of this Raw is this. It was a piss poor Raw to build up for Survivor Series. They should know better than that. They really should. They have to have something to prove against SmackDown, and they are not doing a good job right now. They aren't. The ratings kind of show. But other than that, guys, those are my thoughts about SmackDown. I mean, not SmackDown, but those are my thoughts about Raw. I have SmackDown on the brain. But I want to know your thoughts about this Raw. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel, because honestly, I am done. Those 3 hours were starting to become a little bit draggy, and I'm a bit tired. So I really do hope that Raw does something soon. But if they don't, they're just going to look bad at Survivor Series. Just saying. But other than that, guys, I am done here. Peace out.